Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lawful and Orderly Special Visions Unit, Episode 3, Target Practice. Welcome to Lan Arcanym, the city of magic. At the nexus of three major ley lines, the city shimmers with magical energy. But that kind of power brings trouble. Trouble that sometimes seems to spawn from thin air. Luckily for the folks of Lan Arcanym, the High Guard take their jobs seriously. LAHG is comprised of many different divisions, but of particular interest is the Special Visions Unit. The SVU deals with the strangest and most disturbing cases in Lan Arcanym. This is one such case. Yes, this is Special Visions Unit, or Lawful and Orderly Special Visions Unit. Obviously, I already did that. My name is Andrew J. Young, and I'm going to be the Game Master again tonight. If this is your first time watching, welcome. Lawful and Orderly is a lighthearted fantasy police procedural set in the fantastical city of Lan Arcanym. We do use Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as our rule set of choice, but we don't consult the rules very often. So if you're not familiar with D&D 5th edition, don't worry about it. If you are, please send all complaints to Scott.
Happy to help.
If any time we mess up those rules, just email Scott. Okay, so in each episode of Lawful and Orderly, we do track the successes and failures of players' roles using the scales of justice. A failed roll does not mean a clue has not been found, but it does put a negative marker on the scales of justice, and a successful roll puts a positive marker on the scales of justice. And at the end of the episode, we use the scales of justice, determine whether they're obviously more positive or more negative, and the scales of justice are going to impact our side story, our character arc for this episode. The main story, we get to the end of the main story, and we've caught our part where we haven't, or whatever the situation is. The Twitch audience is going to get to vote, guilty or not guilty, on whoever we've caught, or whoever the world has decided, whoever we just pinned it on at the last second. And it's up to our Twitch audience to decide whether we had enough evidence and that is really the person, and they're going to vote guilty, whether it's not, they're going to vote not guilty, or they just want to troll us and vote not guilty, or like they hate this character and they're voting guilty even though they know they didn't do it. Whatever the case, the Twitch audience decides, and we're going to go with that as our what happens in the story. But enough of all that. That's all set up, out of the way. Let me introduce our players and the characters for tonight's episode. First, we have Scott Brown playing Lan Brownfeet, a cheerful halfling ranger, and an animal control specialist. And double time, Scott is also playing Bark, Ilan's dog companion.
Rolf.
That's right. All right, so Scott, let me ask you a question tonight.
Shoot.
What is Ilan competitive about?
Oh. That's a good question. Not much. Ellen's pretty happy-go-lucky, as you described her, so not much gets under her skin or under her hackles or gets her to be competitive. But I will say that one thing that does is, let's say there is a sport that she was briefly interested in as a younger person, and she's still sort of interested in it, and that is beaver dam construction, competitive beaver dam construction.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, all the kids in the suburban extents of Lan Arcanym, they don't have the big, exciting entertainments of theater and such that the big city has. So they have to keep intrigued in some way, and it's not like they can build snow forts or sand castles. They don't have a lot of either of those constructing materials, but they do have a lot of sort of like dried wood, fallow wood just lying around, and so they build competitive dams.
Excellent. Of course, the creeks out there, along those are perfect. You block them up, and then, of course, after each round, you tear down the previous dam and build a new one because you have to measure how much water is going to get through. So it's a long sport, I take it.
Yeah. You really have to take the long view of it, but and of course, it's difficult to explain the scoring to new people because it's much like figure skating. It's scored based on style, not necessarily based on just speed or strength or endurance, an easily measurable trait. And so there are a lot of subtleties, right? If you may have, someone may look at that and say that's a leaky sieve, and we say, but the leaks that were achieved were artisanal and novel in this space. They did a double swirly, and a double swirly without a half swirly like back feeder is really challenging to do.
Right, and you get bonus points if a beaver moves into your dam while you're building it.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So I imagine Ellen's very good at this game. So it's a good game to be competitive about, it sounds like. Perfect. And last, but certainly not least tonight, is Mr. Marty McGuire, who is playing Aaron Twillson, a human bard, former member of the Traveling Twillsons, and the rookie of the High Guard. So, Marty, what would Aaron consider his strongest skill?
That's interesting. Probably Aaron would consider his ability to relate different stories to one another. The Twillsons perform like a variety act, so there's a lot of music. There's just some kind of feats of strength, feats of daring. But there's also a lot of selections from very famous plays. They usually aren't equipped on the road to do the whole play, so they'll do one-offs. And Aaron actually, growing up, spent a lot of time studying plays written by famous bards or authors and their famous novels that were adapted into plays. And he really likes finding those threads that go between the stories and into real life.
So did the Traveling Twillsons performances, did they have like an overarching theme in each performance? So maybe the play was about kings and the story was about making hard decisions or being a leader, and then you did, juggling a lot of tiny wooden figurines of people all at once, or...
So Aaron would have loved if that was the case, but he didn't actually get to control a lot of the programming of the actual shows. Mm-hmm. So you could bet that he was backstage, practicing those various things, juggling all of the small trinkets that represent the various kings through the ages of the realm that they were performing in. But it was very rare that he actually got to influence what was going on that night. So he would try to do this in subtle ways. He would maybe change a line to make a reference to the music that his sisters played earlier in the night. But he kind of had to keep it subtle. He mostly didn't get in trouble for doing it, but they didn't recognize it as something nice either. So,
well, that's the trouble working with family, right?
Yeah,
can't live with them. Can't perform with them.
No, but yet that's literally all you do, day in, day out.
That's true. So that's a great segue into our episode tonight. Tonight we're gonna start with Aaron. He's off on his own. It's after his shift, and he finds himself at the Scary Dragon Lady Tavern, which I should note is a very bad translation from the original Elvish name, but the Elvish name has been long since lost to time. So all that remains is Scary Dragon Lady. Right. Which is the established name of this tavern. And it is open mic night. So Aaron has come to talk with Steve Bragson just about the general entertainment scene in Lan Arcanym. Aaron hasn't been here as a permanent resident that long, and he's been in the academy for most of his time here. So it's time for him to start getting out and see what the entertainment scene is like here and just what's going on.
Right. Cool. So Aaron walks in and checks out, gives a look to what's going on stage, but does so while headed directly to the bar because he knows where Steve is going to be sitting.
Yep, and sure enough, Steve is sitting at the bar. And Steve, what do you have to say? It's been a long time since you've seen Aaron here at the in Lan Arcanym performing. So
much fucking bots in here, but again, thank you, Val. I do appreciate it, Dean.
Oh, hey. Hey, how you doing, man? Geez, what? I didn't expect to see you. How goes it? So
it has been a long time since Aaron and Steve talk. They left on amicable terms. They're friends. But clearly Steve is caught off guard by the fact that Aaron left the Traveling Twillsons and didn't expect to see him back in the entertainment area.
It's just me today. Sorry, Dad's not here. We're not booking a show. The family's on the road, and I'm local now. I joined the High Guard.
Oh, that's why would you go and do a thing like that? You had such a good thing going, son. I bet it's not too late to get back.
Oh, well, thanks, Steve. I just thought it was time to go out and explore on my own. You know how crowded it gets on that family caravan. Like the little twins running around screaming, and Dad and Uncle Greg yelling about the show. I needed a change of pace, and I needed some order in my life. So yeah, joined the High Guard, went through the academy, and hey, now I'm solving crimes in the city.
Hey, well, good for you, son. Since you mentioned it, I've got this parking ticket. Really, my cousin borrowed the wagon, right, and took it downtown. I don't know if you could like put in a good word.
Geez, Steve. You know what? I can't make any promises. I'll see what I can do, but it's not really the work that I do.
Oh no, they start you above parking enforcement.
I solve murders now.
And out of the corner of Aaron's eye, he spots another familiar figure. This one, noticeably less welcome. It's a short, fat goblin with no shirt, just big suspenders and short pants. Well, if it isn't Twillson here in Lan Arcanym. Aaron, right? The middle child.
Oh my God. Steve, what is he doing here? I thought you booked your own shows.
Yeah. Usually, but things have been kind of thin on the ground. I get parking tickets, things. I'm sorry.
And maybe, I don't know, Aaron, maybe you don't remember me. And he pulls out a tiny roll of parchment. Finwick Tassel, performance booker.
Oh, I definitely recognize those pants. I would not miss those suspenders and no shirt look anywhere.
Well, Finwick's got a wick.
Oh my God. Finwick, what are you even doing in Lan Arcanym?
This is where I'm set up now. This is my my jour d'oeuvre, as they say.
I'm pretty sure they don't say that.
Nah, they do. It's industry talk. You'll get used to it.
It's like your day egg.
No, it's industry talk. You'll get used to it. It doesn't really have it doesn't really translate easily.
Castle, we're in the same industry.
Yeah, well,
just let him have this one.
You're. I wouldn't say you're in the industry yet, Twillson. Maybe when you were with your parents' act, but now you're on your own. You're getting out there. You don't really have the name recognition as an independent artist, but you know who can book those acts for you? Good old Finwick Tassel. And I only take a small fee. We're just going to split it. 40-60. So that's a good 40% for you. That's more than enough. It's more than fair. It's the going price. Actually, the going rate is 35.
Tassel, are you trying to headhunt me right now?
Well, I wouldn't say headhunt. You know that Finwick Tassel is not a great guy to work with. He's just about the skeeziest booker you've ever met. In fact, he's famous for booking very cheap venues and charging very high prices, and taking just a huge percentage for himself. And he managed to book these incredible acts. It's really it's uncanny that he gets these unknowns to come out and perform these amazing acts. They always draw huge crowds. The last thing of his that you ever heard of was the 100-yard tightrope walk by Emily Stannis. but it was not a good performance. It filled an entire big top, sold like hotcakes, but her rope snapped. The rope snapped, and she actually fell and did not survive the impact. So you did not. That was a different study a long time ago, and you thought for sure that was going to be the end of his career. But apparently, he's still pulling it off, still booking small acts to perform big talents and drawing the crowds in, or at least that's still booking those outstanding out of nowhere acts and drawing in the big crowds and raking in the dough. I like to help everybody. The venues are earning.
Well,
the clients.
Castle, I sure hope you're taking better care of your acts than you used to.
That's not an accusation, is it? Is it, Twillson?
I don't think it's an accusation when I'm stating a fact.
No, he's been very good to his acts. You should really consider working with him. I would swear by it.
Well, I don't know if you know, Braggs, but the next act is actually one of mine. Now, I didn't book it through, obviously. I'm just testing them out. This is their pre-trial run. I'm just sort of feeling them out.
It's just like you to make them work for free at an open mic, Tassel. God.
Well, we'll see. I think we're all going to be happy in this situation. Let's just see what they've got. And he snaps the suspenders one more time and climbs up onto a stool and straddles the stool as a duo walks up onto the open mic stage. Hello. We're the Fieries, and we'll be performing some death-defying juggling tonight. At the same time, my wife will be riding a unicycle, and I will be on these pogo boots. So. We are. Honey, do you want to take? Okay, no. Yeah, sorry. We are the Fieries. Our act is called Fieri, the Fieri duo. We're working on it, and he puts the cone, the wooden cone that he was talking into. He puts that back on the stand, and sure enough, he pulls out a pair of boots with big novelty iron springs, and his wife hops on a wooden unicycle, and she starts balancing and pedaling, and he starts bouncing, and they pull out these juggling pins, and start juggling them individually, and then he just juggling two with one hand pulls out a tinder, like a match, a big match, fireplace match, lights it, holds it out, both his pins catch on fire, and then it goes out, and he tosses them to her, and as they start juggling back and forth, all of her pins catch on fire. So they're juggling about 6-7 pins between the two of them, and they're all just the ends of the pins. The handles are obviously not on fire, but the ends of the pins are all on fire. And they juggle for about 30 seconds, which Aaron knows is a remarkable feat, not only for the fire to be going that long, but to juggle that long in tandem while like pogoing and unicycling.
Yeah.
But they catch all the pins.
They pass some serious acrobatics checks.
Yeah, they rolled very well on their acrobatics checks. But they did. They end 30 seconds later. They catch the pins. The fires. They swing them, and the fires go out, and they and the crowd just goes nuts. People throw them coins. They get not a standing ovation because most of the crowd's pretty drunk, but like a slouching sort of slurred cheer.
Aaron's supported though. He's just like, oh my god, whoa, yeah.
Now you see, I really. Fenwick knows how to pick him. Now, I'll reconsider if you're interested. I could book you an act just like that. I know you got a whole range of talents. You do the talking, you do the jumping, you do those like the fun little jingles. So you listen. Here's my scroll. Take that.
Okay, thanks.
You just get a hold of me.
I'll hang on to this
thing. Catch you later, Twillson. And he one last snap of his suspenders. And we come back in time, back to the present, back to the police station, where Aaron, having not yet re-encountered Fenwick Castle, doesn't know how his night is going to go. So he's carefree, confident. Ilan, Bark, both there. Everybody's happy. They're having their little coffee break, as they do.
I sure love the coffee here. Reminds me of fresh spring water. You know, the kind that comes from real springs. It's like all muddy and brown. It just tastes just like that. It's just the same.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than what we had in the caravan. Like we mostly conserved water, so we'd be chewing on just raw beans. It was. I like this coffee too, Ilan.
Yeah, it's good.
Detectives, my office now! The chief's voice booms through the station, loud but not angry.
Yes, Captain.
And as the two detectives and the loyal mastiff enter the chief's office, you see already that the tall, pale, hairless seer that you've seen it once or twice before is there already, crystal ball on the pedestal, their long, spindly fingers steepled together. Everyone, please place your hands on the crystal ball, and I will share with you this most unsettling vision. I believe that time is of the essence. And as you all put your hands on the crystal ball, your vision blacks out and your hearing is muted. And as the light grows, you find yourself in what appears to be an indoor archery range. Large straw-stuffed targets on pedestals are spread around a long room. At one end of the room, there's a lowered walkway that runs behind the targets. At the other end, a series of squares are painted on the floor. Hanging targets are scattered above where the straw-stuffed targets are. And you see a diverse group of people standing out inside the painted squares, all firing or loading crossbows or drawing back bowstrings. And you begin to slowly float towards them. Before you get close enough, before you have enough time to look at them to really recognize any of them, the scene blurs for a moment. And now you find yourself in a different room. You can see into the room you were just in, though, through an open doorway. You see the squares, but now they're empty. There's no one out there. But your vision turned and you see that everyone is gathered in this room. It's full of people, and they're all gathered around something on the floor. You grow close. You move closer, moving between two of the people on the floor, and see a very familiar face, a very familiar person lying on the floor. It's Durango Broadbone lying still and dead on the floor, and the vision fades to black very quickly. This, detectives, time is of the utmost because I sense that this vision has not yet come to pass. I believe that you may be able to prevent this most gruesome murder from occurring, and if not, then your speed will surely catch you help the murderer before they can do more harm.
Oh, yeah, I like Durango, and that dungeon that he lives in is real nice. He shouldn't die. That's not fair. He's too tall to die.
And the chief... Aaron clears his throat and continues.
Hi, sorry, I was so stunned. Durango is amazing. I owe him a beer, and he owes me like 5 hours of detective stories.
We'll get right on it, Chief. Don't you worry. Rolf.
The chief also is stunned by this vision. She was not prepared. Officers, listen, preventing a murder, especially of the murder of a retired detective, is one of your most important responsibilities. We don't get these future visions very often. So we've got to catch this potential murderer before it takes place. Now, it's tricky. If you can get evidence that someone was planning to murder, then along with this vision, we might be able to put them behind bars for attempted murder. But if no crime has occurred, you can't do anything officially. You can't arrest anyone or detain anyone. I suggest going undercover for this, finding out as much as possible, and then only flashing your badges if it gets down to it. But get out of here. If we fail to stop a murder that we knew about ahead of time, the mayor's going to have us all put up for incompetence.
You got it. Got it. We'll do it right away. Thanks.
Get out of here. She sent you on your way.
On our way out the door, I'm like, it's funny the chief wants us to go incognito, whereas no one seems to recognize us as cops almost ever anyway. We always have to identify ourselves. It's weird. It's like these badges are invisible. But is your badge invisible? Could only the cops see it? Is that a magical thing?
I don't think so. Can you see it now? The hat?
Yeah. You're gonna pokes the hat.
Okay. Yeah. I see the hat.
All right.
Look, Ilan, do you know where this archery range is? Is this one that the Force uses?
You both actually recognize it. Aaron has only been there once, but it is a very nearby archery range, and it is one that a lot of detectives use off hours. So it's not obviously the station has an official shooting range, but this is a private shooting range that is nearby that a lot of the officers use when they're off the clock and they just want to get some practice in and don't want the pressure of being in the official detective shooting range.
Hold up, we're off stream apparently.
Uh-oh.
It's a damage.
Oh
I saw the screen flash.
Let's see. I don't know.
Oh, it says live.
It tried to come back. It looks like it might be back.
Hey!
We now see technical difficulties.
Cool. Well, that's 90% the way there. So great. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, that was a fun, exciting break. Hope you all got your popcorn refills and your soda refills and took your candy out of your bags because we're back and we're moving on. So,
does touching your badge make everything invisible? Is that what happens?
I don't know. I see it just fine.
But everything didn't you see that? Everything just like flashed away for a second.
Yeah. Officers!
Oh, right.
Get into your undercover outfits and get down to the range. It's the one down the street. Everybody knows it. You all use it on your off time. I know you do. It's fine. But get down there and take care of this. If someone is murdered and we knew about it at a time, I'm telling you, we're all done. So get out of here.
All right. You got it.
Yes, Chief.
Stop holding and go.
There we go.
So you all three of you, Ilan and Aaron and Park, race out of the station and down the street. It's just a couple blocks away.
And then we remember that we forgot to put on our undercover outfits, and so we race back to the station and we change into our undercover outfits. And then we have some brief critique of whether or not I really belong in that tramp clothes and whether or not that top hat fits Aaron. And then the two of us, baking an unlikely pair together, run back out.
Yeah, I need to know what your undercover outfits look like in not excruciating detail, but at least some detail. It's important.
Both of us have been here before.
Well, and we saw how people were dressed in the vision.
Yeah, it was pretty casual. You guys have both been here before, but you're not so regular that everyone's going to shout Norm when you guys walk in, right? You didn't recognize anybody other than Durango in the vision. And Prest, you guys, neither you don't actually really remember the name of the place or the name of the person who owns it. You just know it's there. You guys, the officers usually go in groups, actually, even off the clock.
Mm.
Well, I think. Geez. What do you think? Should we try and blend in separately? I mean, I have some dirty overalls, says Ilan in her very dirty overalls, which makes you wonder how dirty her dirty overalls are. And she says, and those are pretty good for a disguise for just a regular old person. And Bark, you can get disguised, right? And Bark says, "Wolf," and shakes until his badge flies off.
There is a lost and found box with a number of outfits of varying sizes that is perfect for this kind of undercover work. It's unofficial, but everybody uses it when they really have to go deep undercover.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I think pick out a couple of outfits, and you guys have of course, you got to go through the montage where everybody
montage.
Yeah. Aaron's gonna dig through looking for stuff that fits. That's like a little nicer. Like Like maybe this is a person of importance who's going a little incognito. So like dressing up like someone trying hard to dress down who doesn't know how to do that very well.
You have like real nice boots and real nice pantaloons and then kind of a half attempt at a grubby cloak over the top, and like it clearly hangs low.
Yeah, and like the shirt tail is very clearly like nicely tucked on one side, and like it looks like he tried to get that untucked look on the other side.
Nice. You're layering that. That's good. Ellen,
smudge of charcoal on your face.
Ellen will put on her dirty
just
trousers.
one, like very careful,
and take off her badge sash. And then she finds a hat that is several sizes too large for her, but then she pokes 2 holes in it, and she's good.
Perfect. That's pretty undercover. I don't think anyone will recognize you.
All right.
So we have a very, very mildly down on his luck high society person and some sort of elephant person whose visage is so grotesque that they have to wear a hat over their face with holes poked in for the eyes.
That's a good point. After a while, she just she'll continue to work on her outfit on the way there. It may end up being a very regular hat.
Perfect. And of course, Bark. You give Bark a different colored collar. No one will ever recognize Bark with that a bright green collar instead of their Bark's classic.
I throw a bunch of. I indulge Bark on the way. One of Bark's favorite things is rolling in dirt, and I let Bark roll in lots of dirt. So Bark is a subtly different shade of brown than usual.
Perfect. So the 3 of you arrive at the range, which does have a name, and that name is right here. It's very apparent. It's a big sign out front. It is Straight Wind Range, of course. There was temporarily the wind was blowing the sign. You couldn't quite read it, but the wind's back down. So Straight Wind Range. Shooting range.
Oh, straight wind. Right. I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of this place. Ilan, tell you what, we don't exactly look like a matching set here. I think we should probably go in separately.
Ilan, let's go your hand. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think we'll look more undercover if we're in there separately. We can see more stuff, and if we need to surprise someone, they'll never expect that we're working together.
Okay, if you think it's important, yeah, for Broadbone, we'll do it. Yeah, okay.
So Aaron goes in first, in his very mildly down on his luck fancy outfit, and it is the very place you saw in the vision. You're stepping right into the archery range, the very back behind the white squares, next to a small counter. There's a middle-aged, maybe a little older, half-orc woman behind the counter, and 6 or 7 people out on the range, including a very large figure who you immediately recognize as Durango. They all have their back to you. They're all messing with bows or arrows or shooting or whatnot. And the woman behind the counter leans out. Well, howdy there, sugar. What do you? What can I do for you?
I'm here to practice my shooting. Yes, I have some hunting coming in my future, and I would like to practice firing some arrows at your fine archery gallery, please.
Do you have any of the rest of your life story you need to tell me there, sir, or is that going to be it for? No, I'm just joshing you. I'm just joshing you.
You just seemed like such a nice person. I feel like I could tell you anything.
Well, I am nice. You can't tell me anything, and this is the place to go to shoot arrows. You're in time. There's a competition today. It's the semi-annual Let It Fly archery competition. Now it's no fee to enter, and she steps aside and you see a pretty big silver trophy behind her. This is the trophy for the winner. This fancy silver trophy. We give it out new one every year. Would you be interested in entering the competition? Again, no fee, no problem if you lose. Just sort of gets everybody in the spirit of really trying their best and really shooting for the stars.
Well, I can't say I came prepared with my best, but with no downside, how could I say no?
Yes,
right. Of course.
Perfect. Well, let's sign you up right here. What's your name?
My name is Philip Daggerwing.
Philip Daggerwing. That's a very unique name, Mr. Daggerwing.
Yes,
Daggerwing. Perfect.
It's not a usual name around here.
It's a fine name. If you didn't bring your own bow, I can loan you one. We've got a couple back here. You look about medium high. How about you want a long bow or just a short little composite bow? Or are you a crossbow man?
Oh, well, crossbow feels like cheating. I really should use the power of my own two arms. Let's try the short bow.
Alrighty. Suppose it's a short composite bow and hands it to you. It's the right height. It feels pretty good in your hands. You're not an expert marksman, but you know which end of the arrow to put in the bow. And just then, Ilan and Bark step in through the door, making their grand entrance. Howdy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, sweetie. I sure did not expect my competition today to bring in such a big crowd.
Yeah, I heard about it down at the docks. There's a competition here. I definitely heard about that.
There is one here. It's the Let It Fly archery competition, semi-annual. This whole here silver trophy is the prize. It's free to enter, no charge, no penalty for losing. It's just it's a fun competition to sort of get everybody at the range, just doing their best. Are you up for it?
Sure. That sounds great. That's definitely why I came in. Yeah, that
well,
sounds
great.
awesome.
Just go ahead and give me your name, and I'll just jot it right down here.
My name is Eustace R. D. Woe.
All right. Now, you're going to have to forgive me if I spelled that wrong, but we're not engraving it on the trophy, so probably not the end of the world.
Eustace.
So close.
W.
Nope.
U.S.
Okay, well, I was not close at all, sweetheart. Let me just fix that.
Oh yeah. It's you're good. I mean, spelling's important, but what's more important is winning trophies.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad you got in the spirit. Now, I see you did not bring a bow. We do have a range of smaller bows and crossbows. Do you want a sort of a composite or sort of a long bow or like a little crossbow?
I will take the longest bow you have.
The longest bow suitable to your stature, or you just want just straight up the longest bow?
I don't take kindly to short jokes, but
hey.
The longest bow you have.
Well, fair enough. And she pulls out a 6-foot long bow and sets it out on the ground for you. I certainly didn't mean any harm. I know shooting, and a lot of times people need a bow of their size, but it's all you. It's all you.
I got this. I got this. I'm gonna beat everybody at this. It's gonna be great.
Well, as you're both new, I'll give you the rules real quickly. The competition's not started yet. Everybody's just warming up. I'll start the competition. Everybody will get 10 shots. Whoever, each of the rings is worth a certain amount of points. Whoever scores the highest is the winner. If there's a tie, we have a shootout until somebody scores a lower point. So if we keep hitting bullseyes, we just keep shooting until somebody scores lower than the other person, and that person's the winner.
Now, I had these contests back home. So how many times do I have to split someone's arrow in half before I win?
Oh, sweetheart. If you split an arrow, I'll tell you what. If you split anybody's arrows with these wooden tipped practice arrows, I will get you a separate prize distinct from this trophy. And of course, now since you didn't bring your own bows, it shouldn't be a concern. But just so you know, no actual arrows are allowed in the range. We do have all the wooden tipped practice arrows right out here. So just make sure if you have real arrows, you got to put them in those lockers in the break room. But you guys shouldn't be a problem. But it's a safety thing. I gotta say to everybody. Gotta tell to everybody.
All right, I'll go straight to the lockers in the back room and I'll put those arrows away, along with my dog. Woof. Oof.
Well, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Boof and Eustace, and Mr.
It's Roof, like above.
Roof
Yeah.
and okay. I apologize, Mr. Roof.
Yeah.
Boof. And as she's making her apologies, both of you hear a different voice, but no one else reacts to it around you. Someone in this place is plotting murder today, detectives. I can sense it.
Who said that?
And you can Who said what, sweetheart? I was just apologizing for mixed up your dog's name. I certainly am sorry about that. And,
oh yeah, it's okay. Roof isn't too sensitive about it. Woof.
And just over there in the break room, and you'll find Grudda is harmless and equally useless. She would let this murder happen right under her nose and still be of no help to you, detectives. In the break room, and it'll be about 20, 30 minutes maybe, and the competition will get started.
All right, Aaron is now like, oh, okay, yes, well, I think I've got it. I'll just be heading over to get some practice shots in, if I may.
All right, well, let me know if you need anything, all right? My name is Greta.
Thank you, Rutta.
Boy, Greta, he sure took a small bow.
But it's not the size of the string. It's the size of the bow. It's the pull of the strings, they say. But best of luck to you.
So, Woof and I will sneak into the back room where I would nominally place my arrows into the locker and investigate that area.
Okay. So this is the break room. It's got a couple of tables, a handful of chairs, and about a dozen small footlockers. It also has a large wooden cabinet and a freshwater pump and a basin in one corner.
Okay.
So the lockers are they're just small wooden footlockers, kind of like chests. These are obviously the ones designed for you. Some of them have locks on them. Most of them don't.
All right. So Ilyn will start with the obvious thing and test the water to make sure it's not poisonous. And then kind of work backward from there, looking in the footlockers for any poisoned arrows that have real tips.
Does Ilyn just put her face under the water and drink from the freshwater pump?
Yep.
Okay, it's fresh, clean water, no immediate ill effects.
All right, and then she licks the tip of her real arrow she sees to also look for poison. Meanwhile,
cut to Aaron, who has gone out onto the range to begin taking practice shots. You take a empty square between a dwarf and a kobold.
How close am I to Durango?
Durango is just 2 squares over. He's on the other side of the kobold.
Okay.
And he has not noticed you yet. He's very busy. He's got a very actually, it's not a huge bow. It's actually shorter than the bow that Ilyn grabbed. But it's like a recurve. It's very, very heavy pull, clearly.
All right. So while looking around, Aaron is going to notch an arrow and take a test shot, watching Durango to see if he looks normal. Is he kind of like is his head in the game?
Go ahead and give me an attack roll for that test shot, and that's if you don't have bow proficiency, it's just going to be your dexterity bonus plus a d20 then.
All right. Well, I've got my dex bonus is +2. I rolled an 8, so that's a 10.
Okay. Scott, can you give us a failure on the scales of justice? First failure. Perfect. Your arrow hits the very edge of the target. It does stick. A 10 is enough to hit a moderate-sized target from, and you've got a area with a kind of a close target. It's not very far.
Excellent.
Durango seems fine. He's very animated, very loud. Oh, we go. He's just talking. You can't really hear his accent. So we'll leave that alone. He's chatting with the kobold next to you. You can tell the kobold is not super happy to be chatting with him, but Durango is very just much chattier than you remember him being, but not in like a particularly suspicious way.
Mm.
You did meet him. The only other time you met him is in catacombs, and you were suspecting him of murder at the time. So,
right. I think, Aaron. So, Philip is going to sigh in disappointment at the arrow shot and hear the conversation next to him because someone's being loud, and perk up. Say, I say, Durango Broadbone.
That's me. Do I know you, sir? I don't reckon I've got the acquaintance of so many fancy folks as today as I used to when I was.
No, but I'm a huge. I am an enormous fan of your work. To go from solving crimes into adventuring like you have done, you're just an inspiration. My name is Philip Daggerwing, and I wink at him.
Well, Philip Daggerwing, my name is Durango Broadbone.
Right, I know that, yes.
Yeah, you did say you knew me. You know me from the Red Fletcher case, right? That's my last case. Big to do. Everybody was all over about it.
Certainly an amazing case. My goodness, yes. But your more recent exploits, I find even more personally interesting and fascinating.
As an adventurer, you don't say. I didn't think those had quite the public following as my career as a detective. He is not getting on. He is just not getting it.
With such a famous person with such a storied past suddenly making a career change, why? Plenty of people in looking for a career change, perhaps due to a change in fortune, would want to follow along and learn some things. May I pick your brain?
You see, he's starting to. Have we met before?
Oh, I'm not sure that you would remember it. It was a dark place, not very well lit.
The kobold between you huffs, puts down his bow, and storms off to the break room. Get some quiet around here, everybody's talking, and it's impossible to pick your shots.
I believe there were some interesting plants in the area.
Twillson? Is that you?
Yes, Durango, it's me. Look, I'm here undercover. There's possibly a threat on your life. We got a vision, and in it you died. Here, today.
Me? Here? That's ridiculous. Really?
I agree, yes. You're over your corpse was over in the next room. Everyone was staring at it. That's basically all we have is here and over there. And
he seems a little upset at this information. Well, you didn't come on down, did you? Did you bring any of the other detectives?
No, Ilan and Bark are here too. They're all undercover.
The little tiny one and the dog?
Yes.
All right, that's good then.
Look, do you have any enemies here? Does anyone know that you're here in this competition?
What enemies? No. I'm here all the time. I shoot arrows all the time in this range. I know almost everybody here. I don't have any enemies. I mean, this competition, I haven't been to it before. It was 2 years ago was the last one, so this is the first time I've been in it. But I mean, I'm here all the time. Anybody who, wanted me dead would know where to find me on a Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Well, I guess let's keep an eye out and see if you recognize anybody or someone you specifically don't recognize. Unless you just want to bolt, we could probably just go, and then you might not die.
Well, now listen, I don't plan to die tonight, but if there's someone here planning to commit murder, I think it's our responsibility to catch him. Now, it's been a long time since I've been a detective, but I think I still got the brains to do it, so we're going to catch him today, and we're going to take him to the chief, and you're going to get a commendation, and Ilan's going to get whoever Ilan is, Ilan's going to get a commendation, and we're all going to be famous for another day. And he gives you a big wink, right. And the scene fades to black temporarily, and we find Aaron on the end, receiving end, very different wink, in a very different time. He is in Dirt Alley, into the dirty, the very rough part of town. Literally Dirt Alley. The roads are made of dirt, just hard packed dirt. A lot of the houses, a lot of the buildings are constructed mud bricks. So not like, they're like adobe kind of construction, right? They're not puddles. They're not piles of dirt. But Aaron's found himself here, tracking down the Fieries. Just ask them a couple questions, just to, Fenwick's whole persona didn't quite sit right with him. He knows it from those old days. He knows what kind of a guy he is, and the Fieries just they got lucky. They did a great job, but he's wanted to talk to them. So he found out where they lived, and he's at the bar that they frequent, which is just called the Dirty Cup.
The Dirty Cup.
The Dirty Cup.
Excellent.
They're really on theme in Dirt Alley.
All right. So Aaron is going to sidle up to them and say, I guess, to the male of the two, since he seemed to be the one that was speaking on stage. Wow, heck of a performance up there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is to be honest, it was our first time doing the trick. It's something we've talked about for years, but we've never actually done that trick before. So it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it went off like a hitch. So,
My gosh. Yeah. Are you sure you've never practiced that before? Or?
Well, I mean, I do the pogo act and the juggling act, and my wife has done the unicycle of the juggling, but we've never done it. We did tandem once, but never on fire. But when your agent calls and says, "Hey, this is the gig. This is what we got to do," to be honest, Lan Arcanym is filled to the brim with talented performers. So, someone when you're coming out of Dirt Alley is where to take what you can get. So,
hey, sorry, I'm being rude. I didn't catch your names, and I'm Aaron Twillson.
My name is Hugh Fieri, and this is my wife, Gal.
Excellent. Hey, I just want to say it takes real guts to get up on stage and do something that you've never done before. Your agent, wow, they must be putting some real pressure on you.
Well, I mean, I hate talking a turn. You got me talkative tonight because I'm coming down off my nerves. Obviously, I don't know who you are. I'm talking to you about my performance. Yeah, well, our agent's fine. Kind of an odd fella, but hey, he's got us another act booked, another performance booked at the park actually tomorrow morning. No, wait, I guess it's later tonight. Check my pocket, my wrist undied. Yeah, it is later tonight.
Okay. Are you going to be doing the same act tonight, or?
Well, and Hugh and Gal exchange a look, and Gal pipes up, "Well, it's not the same act. Actually, we'll be ramping up the stakes a little bit for this act. It's a big one. It's really designed to be an attention grabber, really get our names out there. And our agent has really convinced us that the initial act was great, but really to bring the crowds, we're really gonna have to go all out. We did great on that initial one, and I think we can do this. I think this is our big shot, and I think we need to take it. We're ready.
Hey, can I ask you guys something?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know about the Stage Actors Guild?"
And that's when the nosy bartender pops his large nose over the edge of the bar, and says,
"Hey, look, talking's free, but spots at the bar ain't. You guys gonna order another round or not?"
Yeah, I'll get there next round. One of whatever she's having for me.
Yeah, all right. So, 2 swills coming up. What is this talk of unions I heard about? We don't take kindly to that in this tavern.
"Oh, listen, I know, Frank. It's not really a union. This is our friend. He doesn't understand how it is here in Dirt Alley. He doesn't understand how it is in the Dirty Cup. Aaron, go ahead and tell him that you were talking about the Stage Actors Guild, but not recruiting for them, right, Aaron?"
Oh, yeah, I don't think they operate here. I don't think you've got anything to worry about. I don't see them taking a big interest in the Dirty Cup or Dirt Alley.
All right.
Marty is clearly writing something down under the bar, like taking some sort of small note.
That's good. You just keep it that way. We don't take kindly to that. Andy, leave us up your drinks.
Well, yes, and Hugh starts talking to the bartender, just making the sort of small chit chat. Oh, yes. Well, the act's tonight in Kings Park. Frank, if you want to come down, I know you've got somebody else to cover the bar. And Gal leans over to Aaron and says, Frank works for Fenwick. He's one of his talent spotters. Fenwick is not a fan of guilds and unions.
All right. While we're whispering, Aaron's gonna say, "Look, I've been performing all over for years. I've seen this before, like this specific thing. You're headed right for trouble, and I know that you think this is your shot, but there's a big chance that you're gonna lose everything, and you're not gonna. Even if everything goes right, you're not gonna get what you think you are."
Well, I appreciate your concern, but to be honest, this is our kind of our only chance. We're kind of on our last legs here. We've got to take our shot, and I know Fenwick's not the best agent, but if we can get the name recognition, we can get out from under him as an agent in maybe a couple of years and go out on our own and really work with a better agent. But to be honest, yeah, good one, Frank.
Yeah. What do you call 13 guild members in a lake?
Oh, I don't know, Frank. What do you call 13 guild members in a lake?
Another good start.
Well, it was nice talking to you, Aaron. Maybe we'll see you at the park tonight, right?
Hey, if you're gonna be there, I'll be there.
Yeah, of course we're gonna be there. So have a great one. We'll see you later tonight. Aaron unhappily leaves the bar, and as he walks back out into the gathering gloom, we find ourselves back several hours earlier in the morning, back at Straight Wind Range. Why do they make it so hard to say? Straight Wind Range. Ilan in the break room, having opened all of the unlocked footlockers, and just leaving them open so that to better gauge all of the evidence at once. Several of them are empty, but in the unlocked ones, Ilan has found one of them contains a pouch of really grody smelling leaves and a small ceramic pot, which seems to be filled with honey. One of them contains an unsigned letter of recommendation and a guide on herbs and berries. And one of them contains one of the unlocked ones contains a black feathered cloak, which you immediately recognize as Durango's, a quiver with 5 steel-tipped arrows, and a small wire, like a kind of a wire mesh ball full of foul-smelling leaves, like the same as from the pouch earlier. Ilan does recognize these as tea leaves, but that's got to be the least pleasant tea. Do you want to give me maybe a nature check?
Nature or survival?
Yeah, either of those work.
+4, and I got a 2 on the die. That's 6 total.
Perfect. Well, Ilan puts one in his mouth from the bag, and after chewing on it for several minutes, identifies it as Moondrop Dew tea, which is probably the nastiest tasting tea he has ever had. But he does recognize it. It takes some doing.
I'll just go ahead and add failure to justice.
Go ahead and do that. Hey, what are you doing in here with all these lockers open? Is the kobold who comes storming into the break room.
I'm having this awful tea. Have you ever tasted anything like this? It's just awful. Oh, it's so gross.
Are you nosing around in other people's lockers?
Yeah.
What are you doing this for? This is outrageous. You cannot just come in here and nose around in people's lockers.
Really? I mean, there's not a sign that says you can't come in here and nose around in other people's lockers. I just assumed I could.
The kobold points to the sign right next to the door that says, "Please do not disturb lockers that are not yours."
Oh, I don't think. Do they seem disturbed to you? I mean, my quick assessment of their mental health says they're okay.
Listen here, little person. rich, very, very rich, coming from a kobold to call a halfling a little person, since you're roughly the same height. Listen here, you just stay over there in that corner, and I'm going to open my own locker, and we're going to see what we can see. And he goes over and unlocks a locker, and turns it away from you so you can't see him opening it, and goes and gets in. It doesn't get in the locker, but leans into the locker, and pulls out a letter, which he folds up and puts in his pocket, and then he closes his locker and locks it again. All right, now, do I have to talk to Greta about you being in here and disturbing all these lockers, or are you going to put all these things back and close all these lockers up?
Was his locker one of the locked ones, the unlocked ones?
Yes, it was one of the locked ones. He put the key and the paper back in your vest pocket.
All right. I'd say, no, I don't think so. Unless, I mean, I think I've got it under control. I don't think she'd be good to give me a hand. I mean, she's busy at the front.
All right, and he walks out.
Have a nice day.
Viciously.
Gosh, Roof. Some people. Roof.
All right. We are going to take a brief break here in the middle of the show. It's a bio break, a chance for any of the audience to go take a walk, do whatever they need to do. A chance for Scott and Marty and I to walk around, stretch our legs, get a drink, whatever we need. But we're not going to leave everybody in the lurch here. During this break, we are of course going to start off our break by reading one of our many ads from one of our wonderful sponsors. And let me just load up tonight's advertisement. Hey. What do you know? Here it is. Okay. Coincidentally, tonight's sponsor for Lawful and Orderly is the... Oh, no, that is the wrong one. Okay. Tonight's Lawful and Orderly is sponsored by Yorns, Spoons, and Other Oddities. If you can't find it at Yorns, then do you really need it?
Gotta love Yorns.
You do. They got everything.
And that Other Oddities category is so wide, right? I mean, it really includes...
It is. Just love wandering through that part of the store.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond really doesn't do enough with the Beyond. Like,
exactly.
That's such a wide compass. But Yorns, really, like, their spoon selection is great. Their Other Oddity selection is just astounding.
Yeah. I mean, bewildering.
Yeah.
Like,
I stopped going to Spatula City because Bjorn's Spoons and Other Oddities has spoons and things that are vaguely spoon-like, which includes most spatulas, and also other oddities, like vile tea.
They do carry Moondrop Dew tea. It is renowned as one of the most odorous teas in the kingdom. But it's got a cult following of people who are constantly saying, you've got to get used to it. You got power into it, and then you drink it, and it's good. Everybody's happy with it.
All right.
All right, cool. We got 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the break timer. For those of you who are timing out your bowel movements at home, apparently the three of us are cameling it this evening. Oh, nope. Marty's out.
Yeah. It's gonna be solo Scott for just a moment or two.
Okay, all right. You kids out there in Radio Land, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, complaints about my audio quality, please put them in the chat. We've already had a couple of exciting odds and ends and tidbits and diddlewabs today, but overall I think the show's going pretty well. If you want any spoilers, I have none. I have no idea what Andrew's gonna turn the tail on us for the second half of the show, but I'm pretty excited to find out. Hope you are too. Yes. One of our lovely show listeners asked me not to diss on Spatula City, and it's true. They are a sponsor of a local UHF station, and that I know and love, and that I'm sure that many of you all know and love. Their newest nighttime guy, I think he was promoted from janitorial work, but he's great. So good. Like crazy good. So I've been watching a lot, and I think you should too. And yes, we also have the comment that we need more kobolds, and I 100% agree. We have not had enough basically greenskins of any sort. I'd like to think that Lan Arcanym is an inclusive city, and of course Lawful and Orderly is an inclusive show. We have bipeds and hominids of all skin colors, creeds, and racial descriptors, we'll say, and of course subracial descriptors. So that should include orcs, kobolds, and the like, goblins, so forth. So yes, hope to see more of that. We can all get a shot at our goblin voices. Kobolds and goblins, oh my. We had 1:13 left on the clock for those of you who are counting at home. Yes, and this end of the break is brought to you by Steve's Sharp Things, a local goblin store, Steve's Sharp Things, where you cut yourself, guaranteed.
It's not a great guarantee to have for a store. But it is a guarantee. They do stick to that remarkably well.
Mm. They stick it to you.
And occasionally, in your abdomen or across your shoulders.
Not discriminating.
No, they don't.
Just stick it anywhere.
Even people who walk in by accident, they get that guarantee. That's the thing. Not a lot of stores will give you. If you come in by accident, a lot of stores say that guarantee doesn't apply to you. Not a Steve Sharp Things. They really follow through on their message.
That's right.
All right. So 15 seconds. Any last we have how about non-corporeal guests? Well, we have a non-corporeal Jeffrey this evening, which is very sad. She is in my home state of Utah this week. I'm sure enjoying herself, or at least enjoying the horrible weather, probably.
Or at least being there.
Yes. All right, and that's all our time.
All right, well, welcome back to Lawful and Orderly Special Visions Unit. This is Episode 3, Target Practice. Just a reminder, if you're just joining us, Lawful and Orderly is a fantasy police procedural. Tonight we have Scott Brown playing Lan Brownfeet and Mark the dog.
It's getting deep. Have the dog names.
Yeah.
And somebody
very
all the way up. And Marty McGuire playing Aaron Twillson. Jeffrey Copeland is not joining us tonight. We wish her all the best. So Aaron and Ilan have found themselves undercover at Straight Wind Range. I'm changing it. If I have to say it again, I'm saying a different one. There they've gotten a vision at the station of the death of friend Durango Broadbone. But this vision has not yet come to pass, so they're at the range to try and prevent his death. Ilan has been searching through footlockers. Aaron has been talking with Durango. And we will rejoin them momentarily. But first, the scales of justice, if you're seeing them, are what we use to keep track of the successes and failures of our players. We use those successes and failures at the end of the night to weigh in on our character arc, which is starring Aaron this week. And of course, at the end of each episode, our Twitch audience votes guilty or not guilty on whoever the detectives have decided is the perpetrator. And we go with that. If they say guilty and it's clearly not, that's what happens. The audience, the jury has voted. So we read
like a real justice system.
That's right. Lan Arcanym gets their man or woman every time, or a man or woman, or maybe nobody. But you're guaranteed some sort of justice with quote marks around it.
It's realistically flawed.
The scales of justice currently stand at 2 failures to 0 victories. We've really been sucking without Jeffrey tonight.
Yeah, barely. Jeffrey is getting all the successes off in Utah. So we rejoin the action already in progress. Ilan is in the break room, and just as he's finishing looking through the unlocked footlocker and putting things back, Aaron and Durango enter the break room. All right. Now, Ilan, right?
My name's Eustace.
Oh, wait. Well, we're here to talk to Ilan, Aaron.
It's Ilan being undercover, being very in character right now.
My name's Eustace. This is Roof.
Woof. Even your dog's in character. What does it? Yeah, how do you usually say Rolf? Well, whatever, it's all right. So, Wait a minute. Oh. Murder. Mine. Prevented.
Yes.
All of us. Today. This morning.
Let's.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, let me give you a rundown of who all's here. Okay. You've got Greta Andor. She's the lady that runs the place, owns the place. Both of those things are true. Half-orc, nice lady, really sweet, excellent teacher. It's good. Happy here.
Seems good. A mysterious voice told us that she's not responsible, but that she would happily let you die here.
A mysterious voice.
You heard that voice too? That was pretty mysterious. Who was that?
Okay, I just assumed that you heard it, Ilan, and I'm really glad that you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Roof heard it. Woof.
The voice, in fact, as though summoned by your discussion of it, the voice returns to the vision you received must not have been a good one. For the course for the high guard these days.
All right.
Of course, and Durango clearly did not hear that voice. And of course, you know me, Durango, probably the second best archer in the competition today. Not to brag, but I'm doing pretty good. It hasn't started yet, but I'm confident I'm going to be in the top 3.
I don't know. I got the biggest bow. That usually means victory.
Well, not exactly useless, but it's a good start.
I'm pretty sure. It's your loss.
Well, hopefully it's not my loss. Hopefully it's neither of our losses. Maybe we'll tie for first. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so me, brother, Skitterick, the kobold. He huffed off between you and I, Aaron. There's Muzzlegrim Gold and Toldorn Gold. Those are the gold siblings, the dwarves out there on the crossbows. Muzzlegrim is probably the nicer one. Actually, she and I both drink the same tea. Would you believe it? Moondrop Dew. Almost nobody drinks that stuff. We both are big fans.
Yeah, I don't know why. That stuff was gross. I'm still scraping it off my tongue.
Did you get into my locker and put a leaf of Moondrop Dew tea on your tongue and chew on it?
Well, not just one leaf. It was hard for me to identify, so I ended up eating like half the bag.
Oh, mine's in a little mesh ball, so it must have been muscle grains.
Oh yeah, yep. That must have been.
Not gonna be super excited about that, but she'll want to be fine. She's pretty nice.
I'll get more. I'm sure I can find her some much better tea.
Well, I'll tell you right now, no tea is better than Moondrop Dew. It's so strong, it's so flavorful. It gives you the whole palate, your whole body experiences Moondrop Dew.
Hey, you know something else? Your whole body will experience death. Can we please work on this case?
Right.
Oh, right. So, Muzzlegrim, her brother, Toldorn, he's a little less friendly, but he's probably a better shot. Kavi, you saw her out there, the very tall, dark-skinned lady. She keeps mostly to herself. To be honest, she's not very good at archery, but we don't hold it against her. Amun, a very friendly young lad. He's constantly asking me about my time in the High Guard, and believe me, I'm happy to tell the stories. He's a nice kid. Mosea, she's a very ambitious young lady. I don't want to undercut myself, but to be honest, she's probably the best shot. But like I said, I'm confident I can make it in the top 3. But Mosea, she's a very good shot. And the other, Vata Bosek, is the other guy out there. He seems pretty good, but he doesn't really apply himself. So, what are you going to do? He can probably get in the top 5. But again, he just...
Is he the kobold who came in before?
No, that was Skitterick.
Skitterick, right.
So Muzzlegrim and Toldorn are dwarves. Kavi is a sun elf. Amun and Mosea are humans. And Vata is actually an Azamar. So he has silver hair and like golden eyes. But other than that, he looks like a human.
So, all right. Jeez, what is this mystery? A Russian epic? Ugh.
I mean,
we got a lot of characters here, Durango. We need to whittle this down to some.
Well, look, Gruta's my friend. It can't be her. We go way back. Let's see. Ammon, he's a great kid. Can't be him. And Skiderick and I get along all right. He's not. Maybe we don't get along great, but I don't think he'd ever do anything to me. Muzdalgrim and Toldorn are both new. They've actually not been here before. They're just here for the competition today, but they seem like fine people. Kavi's young. I don't think. Mosea, Vada is kind of weird, but so it's none of them. No.
Let me ask you something, Durango. How often do you meet people that drink the same tea as you?
To be honest, not that often. There aren't as many fans of Moondrop Dew tea as you'd expect.
Yeah, where did you learn about Moondrop tea?
Moondrop Dew? Oh, I picked it up 5 years ago, maybe, on one of my adventurous expeditions.
I see.
It's not really very popular anywhere, in spite of its very strong and delicious taste. I actually ran into a merchant selling it who sold me a whole barrel of it. Would you believe it, for like a great price? So I've been actually still going through that same barrel 5 years later.
Interesting.
Oh, you know what? These leaves don't get better with age. You know that, right?
No, they get better with every day.
No, the chlorophyll left in them breaks down and it decomposes. It's.
Oh, but that's where the flavor comes from. You just
Durango, did anything, let's say, grudge-like happen on that adventure 5 years ago? Is there any reason somebody from that adventure would be following you around, maybe, to this day?
To be honest, I don't remember what it was or where I went.
That seems odd.
Well, I do a lot of adventuring.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that is the exciting life you lead.
I do lead a very exciting life. I think it was the Brightwood Forest, maybe, and there might have been an ogre involved.
So, how long has Cavi been hanging around you, and what sort of questions does he ask?
You mean Ammon?
Ammon.
Yeah.
Oh, Ammon and Cavi are both young. They're
both young. Mosea's not too old either. But kids, they're always out in the archery range. They have bows and arrows. Ammon, he's been coming here for a few months. I think he's in training to be a park ranger, actually.
Oh, really? That's exciting.
Wait, didn't you used to be a park ranger, Lynn?
No, I'm used to it.
No. Durango, it's just he keeps thinking he that, and then you say something, he just gets confused again. All right. Well, anyway, Iman's a good kid. 5 or 6 months they've been here. They've all been coming here off and on for a while. Rick's been here for longer than I have, I guess.
Vata, do you think he's from an abyssal or an infernal plane, perhaps? He's an Asimar. He could be innately evil.
No, the Asimars are the ones that have got the celestial heritage, right? It's the tieflings with the horns and the tails.
Yeah, I get those. No. It's they all look the same to me.
To be honest, you Swiss. To be honest, that's a little bit of prejudice of you now.
Oh.
Even if you were a tiefling.
Yeah, Ilan, I hope you're saying that in character.
No, well, I just I don't know how. Being from a different species, sometimes it's hard for me to differentiate subtleties of other species. I just really...
Well, it's not the confusion. It's the fact that you thought just because he was a tiefling or an Azimar, it might mean that he was up to nefarious deeds.
Oh, that's because, so I didn't grow up with many extraplanar beings around. Right. I grew up in the suburbs.
They're just like you and me. We're all people.
That's right.
Glowing eyes.
Dylan, it's just a call to do better.
We just want the best for you, Ilan.
Thanks, but my name's Eustace.
Awesome. Durango, do you... It sounds like we don't... it could be none of these people. It could be any... It could be a person who's not here yet. Is there a way that we could have you protected so that if someone does try to jump you or gets an arrow launched at you, I know, as unlikely as this may seem, that you can at least take that hit without dying? You have any armor with you that you can hide under your clothes?
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Aaron. I'll tell you what. I'll put on My cloak of feathers. It has an enchantment that protects me. I don't like to wear it indoors if I'm not doing anything, but if you're concerned, I'll wear it.
Wait, what? Wasn't he in his cloak of feathers when we found him dead in the vision? I think it was described as... Can't roll back the tape. We're in the middle of taping, but...
He was, in the vision, he was wearing the cloak of feathers. I don't know if I described it, but he would have been wearing the cloak of feathers. So, but he walks over to his footlocker, opens it up, pulls it out, puts it on. It does not cover his chest at all, but you almost hear a faint tinkling as he puts it on. There we go.
Oh, good. That's great. Everything's coming true. Wait,
Yeah.
that's not good at all.
No.
It's fine.
Are you sure, Durango, you don't have anything else?
Listen, I was a detective in the High Guard for years. I know the risks. To be honest, I'm willing to take the risks. What we're going to do is we're going to catch a murderer, or hopefully an attempted murderer. We're going to catch an attempted murderer.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good.
We're going to catch him. I have confidence in you, Halfling. I have confidence in you, Aaron. You're going to do it. I'm going to help you. I've already told you who all's here. I'm going to go to the front door. I'm going to drop the bar. We're going to go and flip the sign around to close. Greta's not going to notice. And we're going to keep it closed. We're going to keep it closed. Everybody who's in here is going to be in here.
All right.
Figure out who this murderer is. But remember, keep it on the DL. That stands for down low. Keep it on the DL so that nobody else knows you're detectives of the High Guard.
You're a half giant. Everything's low from you.
Actually, things are mostly very high. Oh, yeah, I see. Everything is low from my perspective. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, keep it on the DL from your perspective. Really, really on the DL.
Oh, okay.
All right. And Durango walks back into the range to presumably flip the sign subtly as he can to closed and to drop the bar on the door so that no one else can get in or get out.
Cool.
Ilan has already checked out the break room. He's gone through all the footlockers that are unlocked. He saw Skitterick unlock one, take out a letter or a piece of paper of some kind, put it back, lock the chest again. The wooden cabinet in the room has just got wooden mugs and things in it. There's 2 footlockers that are still locked.
And one of them had a letter removed from it and put into a shirt pouch.
Yes. So there's 3 locked footlockers. One of them is Skitterick's, and 2 of them you don't know. You don't know who the rest belong to.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to go out and try and talk to some people? Do you want to go look for clues somewhere? Do you want to try and get your way into these locked footlockers?
I'm going to say, Ilan, I guess we just need to watch Durango really closely. If you didn't find anything in here, then probably whatever is going to happen is already in play. So Aaron's going to go back out into the main archery room, and he's going to cast Detect Magic to see if there's something magical here that might be about to spring on Durango.
He's out in the range casting Detect Magic. Now, Aaron is good at this. He does it pretty subtly. Nobody notices. And he looks around the room. You know what? Durango's cloak comes up as magical, obviously. It's very magical. Nothing else in the room is coming up as magical. You know what? There is a faint aura from behind the counter that Aaron just barely picks up. But nothing else in the room is coming off as magical.
All right. Then Philip is going to look for an open stall, and preferably actually a little ways back where he can see, where he can keep an eye on Durango and the other folks around him.
Correct.
And just kind of take. Are we still in practice mode?
Yeah, the competition hasn't started yet, but you're probably getting pretty close.
Okay, so then he's just gonna very idly shoot arrows. He doesn't care where they're going. This is just to look busy while keeping an eye on people. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Give me a perception roll for keeping your eye on everybody.
All right. Aaron's really more of an active investigation guy. Oh, son of a. Well, I rolled a 3. I don't even know if I have a bonus to perception.
It's wisdom.
Oh, nope, and nope.
So that's 3 total. 3 on the die.
Perfect.
I'll go ahead and assume that's a third failure.
Yeah, that is a failure. So that's excellent.
Good.
And even with your abysmal perception, you don't see much else going on. You get distracted by one of the dwarves, the female dwarf, and a young human man, who are having a conversation, loudly but not like angrily. Ma'am, please, I understand, but to be honest, I think the park rangers have a code. I don't think we're allowed to carry crossbows. I think it really has to be like a regular bow or a long bow or a short bow or a recurve bow. Ah, that's nonsense. Listen, you get yourself a good crossbow, right? We're going to get you a nice one. It's going to have a long bowie part. It's going to have a good, hefty stock. Lever action. It's the only kind. It's going to be a gold crossbow. It's going to be great. Park rangers, they're going to love it. They're going to love you, son, and you're going to do great. And she is like salesmaning him up. Like she is clearly like selling him this. Like she doesn't have anything, but she's really selling him on the idea of crossbows. He's not biting. He's not like he wants to say yes, but he's like, I don't think the park rangers let you carry crossbows. Really, ma'am, I appreciate it, but I just can't. Maybe I could buy one for personal use. Do you have like a consumer model that I could get? Maybe I don't need like a professional. And they're going back and forth talking about that. But that is all that you perceive. Nobody else is doing anything particularly out of the ordinary. Most of the people are some of the people are restringing their bows or tuning. Actually, the dwarves are the only ones with crossbows. So the other dwarf is sort of fiddling with his crossbow. A couple of people are waxing their strings. Some people are just taking practice shots. They all know that the competition is going to start in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
So Eustace is going to saddle up down near the target line next to the Aasimar, and he's going to be very open-minded and say, howdy.
Hello.
Hiya. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, sir. I'm Vata Bosak. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he holds out his hand.
Oh, I'm Eustace our Dewo, and this is Roof. Woof.
Eustace, our Dewo, and Roof. It's the pleasure is truly mine. Are you here for the competition, I assume?
Yeah. I heard about it down at the docks. Thought it sounded like a fun thing. Got the longest of longbows, and that means I'm going to win.
That is a very tall bow you have there. Are you confident that you can use it?
Yeah. I think I'm going to win. I always won archery contests at home with the beaver dammers.
Indeed, you shot arrows at beavers. That's
no. It was a hobby group that also had a secondary hobby of. Well, it's not important. It's So listen. I was interested. Have you been coming around here long?
Oh, I've been frequenting this range for a few months now.
So
how long is this your first time here?
It is, and I was hoping somebody could explain to me sort of the social ins and outs. I'm kind of new around, and I don't want to offend anybody on accident, and I don't want to. I want to know who's good to practice with, and where I can make some friends.
You want the gossip around here for everyone, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not much of a gossip myself, but I'll tell you what I know, certainly. You've met Grudda Andor. She's a competent archer who knows her business. And to be honest, she's fairly generous. I don't bring my own bow or arrows, so she loans me equipment from the range, which is very kind. Most of the archers here bring their own equipment. But obviously you and I both borrow. So it's very kind of her. Durango, I don't know if you've met, but he's very loud, but friendly enough, I suppose.
He's so big.
He's very large. He's been coming here longer than anyone else, except for, as far as I know, other than Skitterick, who is a bit spineless, if I must say. I don't want to be rude. He has no Assertion. He's not very assertive. It must make him an excellent clerk, though.
Oh, he's a clerk? Where does he clerk?
Government somewhere, I believe.
That sounds exciting. Are they hiring?
The government? I have no idea.
Oh, I should ask him about it. That's exciting.
I suppose you could.
What do you do? Are they hiring?
Me, I work as a mortuary assistant. We are always hiring a Lan Arcanym.
Ooh, that
Unfortunately.
that sounds so.
Or
I
fortunately.
guess you get to meet a lot of new people, a lot of new faces.
Well, I wouldn't say meet a lot of people, but I do see a lot of people. To be honest,
I've dated around myself.
You what?
I've dated around myself. You know, if you're seeing a lot of people, I've done a little bit of that.
Well, I don't think it's quite the same. I don't think we're talking about quite the same thing, but I do enjoy. Well, I enjoy my job to the extent that you can enjoy something like a mortuary assistant.
Oh, good, good.
To be honest, I like the still and the calm and the quiet. It's very soothing.
So is there anybody around here that I should avoid? Is there anybody who's bad news?
Let me think about this and consult my brain and notes. I would say I would not. I'd stay away from Kavi of timeless wisdom and ageless grace, which is, I believe, her full title, which she insists that everyone use. To be frank, she's a terrible archer, and she's obviously resentful about being here at all.
Really? Why is she here?
I wish I knew. I wish I could give her a reason not to attend, because frankly, she's bringing us all down.
Oh, well, maybe I'll go ask her why she's here. Maybe I can straighten this out for you.
Oh, please. I'd hate to interfere in your conversation. Leave me out of it if you don't mind. I think it'd be best as a personal conversation between you and Kavi.
You got it. Well, thanks for helping me out. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad to be of assistant, Eustace.
Woof, woof.
Aaron sees Ilan walking over to talk to the very tall sun elf, and he's caught by the way that Ilan walks, and he's kind of doing a little jog. And we flash forward to someone else another halfling in the King's Park doing that very same jog. It's not Ilan. But maybe we were raised in the same place, or maybe this is another beaver dammer who has the same sort of pattern of motions from all the beaver damming. But Aaron finds himself later in the evening. It's actually after sunset in King's Park, or rather not at King's Park, but at the Parks and Sewers Department, which is actually across the street from King's Park, conveniently enough.
Of course it is.
Because Aaron, clever as he is wondering whether Fenwick has the proper registrations to be hosting any kind of extravagant event at King's Park in the night. Not the middle of the night, but certainly late in the night. So Aaron steps into the Department of Parks and Sewers and finds himself in the position of speaking to a familiarly unhelpful face. It is Francine, who formerly of the meat packing district has apparently taken up a job, or maybe is working multiple jobs at the Parks and Sewers Department as the Francine.
Hi.
Do
I know
you work
you?
here?
Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Aaron Twillson. I'm a member of the High Guard. I spoke to you in the meat packing district it doesn't matter.
Good.
Look, I need to check some permits on an event that's going on in the park tonight. Do you mind me just going back there and taking a look for myself?
I don't know. They'll be back in a few minutes. They'll be back anytime.
Francine, who is they?
The people who work behind my desk.
As the person with the frontmost desk, are you not the receptionist, the one who interfaces with the public?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when you hear a familiar laugh echoing from the back of the office. Well, I'll tell you, it's great. It's great. I'm glad that I know it's kind of last minute to get these kind of things done, but and you see Fenwick Tassel shaking the hand of a sort of sturdy older dwarf. Yes, Mr. Tassel. Well, your paperwork is in order, so I suppose you're ready to go for tonight. It is cutting it down to the wire, but technically the deadline for submission is the time before the event. So I guess you're ready to go. I suppose you're set to proceed. Well, you know, they say the best acts are the one you plan at the last minute. And that's Fenwick Tassel's way. He snaps his feather. Twillson.
Hey.
I ran into you here again.
Yeah, weird, right? You're interfacing with all kinds of government entities today.
I like your style, Twillson. The show's going to be out in the park in like 20 minutes. You gotta come see it, and then maybe afterwards, after you see the kind of talent I can book, you and me, work together.
Tassel, this is last minute even for you, my dude.
Yeah, plans change, and you really want to show off. You really want to get the act going, and so we made a couple last minute changes.
You must. Yeah, I gotta say, Tassel, I'm impressed. You must have somebody really famous you're expecting in the audience tonight, huh? Maybe you're gonna finally get that big deal. It's gonna get you set, huh? Is that what's going on here, Tassel? Hey, look at you getting some ambition.
Twillson, let me tell you, you don't know who I got in the audience tonight, but I think you're gonna like it. I think you better come out and see. The act's gonna be great. The audience is gonna be great. I'm gonna be great. It's going to be great. You better come down and check it out 20 minutes from now. It's going to be awesome. And if not you, like I said, this fine lady right here, what is your name, ma'am?
Oh, hi. They'll be back in a minute.
Well, miss, back in a minute. If it doesn't work out here in the Department of Parks and Sewers, talk to me. He pulls out a tiny scroll. Fenwick Tassel. I'm a talent scout. You just keep that. That's for you. I think you do a lot. Your face is made for performance. From far away, maybe a tightrope, maybe some acrobatics.
Really, tightrope, Tassel? You're still doing that, huh?
Hey. Now listen, Twillson. Accidents happen. It's the biz. You know it. I know it. It's all down to the skill of the performer and the legal liability of the performance location. And in that case, I know what you're talking about. It was not my fault, and it was not poor Emily's fault. It was the fault of the performance location. And but this time, it's not going to be the same. Miss will be back soon. Pleasure to meet you, Twillson. I hope you're there.
I'll be there, Tassel. Believe me.
Got you on the flip side in 15 minutes. Goodbye. He finger guns his way out of the department.
I just follow him out while he's finger gunning.
Perfect. And we cut back hours earlier to the range, which shall not be named because it's hard to say. Where Aaron has just observed Muzdlegrim, the lady dwarf, trying to sell Amun a crossbow. And just he's not having it. You see Ilan going over to talk to the sun elf. But what is Aaron up to? The competition is starting
pretty darn soon.
In minutes now.
Philip is going to sidle over to Toldorn, who I understand was stringing his crossbow.
He's tweaking it. But yeah.
And is going to say, "Wow, your sister's really giving that young man the hard sell on the crossbow."
Yep. Everybody loves Muzdlegrim.
Hey, yeah. Oh, sorry, she's always... Didn't mean to interrupt you.
She's always the outgoing one. One of the things, you got siblings, you got twins. Let me tell you.
Oh, twins! Wow, yes, I do see the resemblance. My,
yeah, you got sisters, you got brothers, you got siblings.
Oh, I do come from a large family. Yes,
you know how it is, right?
I do. It's hard to stand out, isn't it?
It can be tough. I'll tell you right now. Everybody loves Muzdagrim. She's a great sales dwarf.
I have a question for you. You've told me your sister's name, but not yours.
Toldorn Gold, and you are?
Toldorn, hello, yes, I am Philip Daggerwing.
Of the Westport Daggerwings?
No, I'm afraid we're a bit further afield.
Okay, the really far Westport Daggerwings.
Sure, yes.
All right, fair enough.
Toldorn,
yeah.
If you want to stand out and be noticed, well, you know that begins within, right? It's you that regulates your behavior. It's confidence that you need to really shine.
Well, to be honest, that's easier said than done. I work kind of a thankless job at the Crossbow Assembly Hall. I oversee all the day-to-day activities, and it's important work, but, nothing's as flashy as being the lead sales dwarf.
Well, is that what brings you here today? Are you looking for archery glory?
Well, why don't you make a persuasion check?
All right. Thank you for that. I rolled an 11. I have a +5, so it's a 16.
Success! All right. He seems reluctant to talk to you, but he does continue. Well, to be honest, Muzdagrim and my mother passed away recently, and she's Eudora Gold. Probably know her. She invented the lever, the pull action lever crossbow, and he holds up a pull action lever crossbow with gold written on the side of the stock. So we'd run the crossbow, the assembly hall for the family, but she passed away recently. Muzdagrim and I are only kids, so we actually inherit the estate and the company together. But Mom's will said whoever's the best shot gets to decide who divvies up the estate. So we agreed to do it kind of informally. I don't really like crowds. I don't really want to embarrass myself in front of our family. So the two of us are going to see tonight, this morning, who's the better shot, and then we're going to settle it at home. And
well,
we're all out there.
That is quite dramatic. I have to say, you seem fairly calm for having so much on the line.
Well, to be honest, Muzdagrim's, it's not like she's not going to cut me out of the picture, but it'd be nice to get out of being the overseer of the manufacturing plant. But if she's in charge, she's going to want to take Mom's position. She's going to want to be the face of the company. It's going to be me doing the grunt work, day-to-day stuff. But, I don't know if you know dwarf laws and dwarf families, but it's kind of the par for the course. Mom's not really a particularly it was not particularly outrageous will. That's kind of how it works in most dwarf families.
Sure, yes. In many families, not just dwarf.
That's fair. That's an assumption I made. I don't know how it might work with other people, but anyway, that's how it works with us. So.
Well, I wish you the best. I hope for the best outcome for you. And hey, even if she takes over as the matron of the company, well, there's going to be a sales spot open soon.
Yeah, that's real positive thinking you got there, Philip. And he goes back to tweaking his crossbow. So Ellen is approaching Kavi, who I believe, who Vata informed you, her full name was Kavi of Timeless Wisdom and Ageless Grace.
Oh, not Ancient Grace, Ageless Grace.
Ageless Grace, yeah. And she is a very tall, dark-skinned sun elf. And she is terrible. Like, Ellen's not a master archer, but she is not good with a bow and arrow. Her target has no arrows in it. And she is frustrated. She snaps the string on the bow and oh! Lost.
Oh, what? You okay there? Did you hurt yourself?
No, yes, this terrible bow.
Oh, yeah,
Pain in my neck.
those bad bows, they'll get you every time. Yeah, that's real rough.
Indeed it is. Can I help you? I'm sorry, I just realized I've never met you.
Oh, yeah. My name's Eustace, and this is Roof. Woof. And, I'm new here, and I wanted to come ask, so what are you doing here? How long have you been coming here? I'm kind of looking for a friend.
Well, I am Kavi of Timeless Wisdom and Ageless Grace. I've been here for a few months, but to be honest, I don't have a lot of time for making friends. I've really got to learn archery, so I hate to be rude, but if you don't mind, I've really got to get this down. I would like to stop coming here and practicing. I'd like to be able to get my archery down and move on to the things that I enjoy. Do you like music, Eustace?
Not particularly. I have a friend who's very musical, but me, no, not so much.
Do you know what a violin is, Eustace?
It's one of those wooden ones, right? Do you strum it?
With strings, you don't strum it like a common fiddle. You play it.
Oh.
And you move up and down, and she mimes very good violining, which of course is useless for Ilan in disguise as Eustace, because Ilan doesn't know how good violining is. If Aaron were here, he would recognize it's very good mimic violining. I long to play the violin, but my grandmother insists that everyone in the family must be proficient with the bow, so here I am.
Oh, that's a real bummer. That's sad. Yeah.
It is most definitely a bummer, as you say.
Oh, well, I'd be happy to give you some pointers sometime if you wanted them. I'm not really good at that good myself, but I'm sure working together always helps.
Well, perhaps after the competition, if you have time, maybe we could.
Yeah.
Anything helps, to be honest. And that's when Greta yells out, "All right, everybody, time to start up the competition. Everybody pick a square, and I'm going to clean the targets out. And actually, now is as good a time as any to take a break. To be honest, I didn't see when I started yelling how many arrows were out there. It's going to take me a few minutes. So everybody go to the break room, get a drink, whatever you need to do. I'm going to just try and clean up all these arrows. We're going to get the competition started."
All right.
You see several people. In fact, pretty much everybody heads to the break room.
Eustace and Roof will head to the break room, and I assume have a very convenient conversation on the way, catching up with what each of us has learned.
Yeah, Philip will.
Right.
Durango brushes between the two of you, forgetting who you are in your disguises, and Moselgrim, a lucky cup of tea before we get started on the competition.
Yeah, just
of course.
Just one thing, real quick, before you get into that tea, and Ilan will pull out her herbalism kit, and this she has enough suspicion at this point that this time she's not just going to eat his tea leaves to test them for poison. She's actually going to use her herbalism kit and her knowledge of nature and legitimately test them for poison, so she does not die.
Well, Muzzlegrim had actually already gone into the room and brewed 2 mugs of tea.
She's fast.
She's very fast. She knew it was coming up, so she already brewed 2 mugs of tea. And Ilan tests both of them with his herbalism kit. Can I get a nature or a survival or a medicine check? Any of the 3 of those will be acceptable.
Yes. I'll do survival, and adding my additional proficiency from my herbalism kit gives me +6 with a natural 20.
Oh, snap. Ilan successfully identifies that one of the mugs is poisoned. I will say Ilan does not recognize the poison. And Ilan is a very, very talented herbalist. It is extremely uncommon that Ilan would not recognize this poison. But she doesn't. But her herbalism test still detects that poison. It does not need to be identified individually. And sure enough, one of the mugs comes up poisoned. Hey, what are you doing to my tea? And it is Durango's mug that's poisoned. What? happened to Mart? Is that a poison testing kit?
Oh, yeah. I've got a theory, Durango. You're gonna have to go with me on this one because I don't get theories very often. But you see, I think what's happened is, or I assume kind of people have gathered around at this point, or
Durango started. He's very loud.
Yeah.
Is Marty poisoned? Everybody stopped doing and turned to look at.
Aaron is hearing this and he's looking for Toldorn to get between him and the door.
Mm-hmm.
You do see Toldorn is in the room. He's close to the door, but you successfully wedge your way in between him and the doorway.
I'm afraid that Toldorn and Murdor? What was your name again? Murdo? Mustelgrim. And Tordorgrim. I'm afraid that Tordorgrim. Just Tordor?
Not close.
No?
Toldorn. That's right. He doesn't mind.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that Muzzle and Hodor here have been having a feud, and they don't like each other, right? But so they're having this archery contest today to decide who wins, like you do in archery contests. But it's so important to them that one of them's cheating and trying to murder the other one. And so they've hired Shitstick? Shitbrick? Is that your name? I'm sorry.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. You went way out of your way to hide that note from me, and I think you were hired as a middleman to poison the tea leaves of someone who had used a locker in this area. Little did you know that there were 2 lockers used by likers, enjoyers of this rancid tea, and you on accident poisoned the tea leaves of our good, very, very large friend here. And I pat the very black feathery cloak as well as Mabel.
I did not know. I did not know it was poison. I was told it was a and he looks very embarrassed. I was told it was a romantic potion, and that no, not that kind of romantic potion. If you gave it to someone who you liked, and you see him unmistakably turn and look at Greta in the doorway, that they would like you back, and that is. But I didn't in a million years know that it belonged to either of these 2 people, and that it was poison. I promise you, I did not know anything.
Well, that'll be for a court to decide. But in the meantime, the important thing is nobody died, and really neither was a Modor? Neither Modor, nor my big giant friend here died, and we get to arrest you both.
Well, that figures.
Oh, right. She pulls out, first Woof's badge and puts it on. This is Officer Bark. And then she pulls out her own. He pulls out his own.
Arrested by a dog.
Well, yeah, technically, he is the arresting officer on most of my paperwork. His name's shorter.
Would my day get any worse? And I assume Aaron also puts on, flips over and reveals his officer's cape and puts on his be-badged hat.
Yeah. As he's been doing that behind Moldorn or Toldorn, and as he says, "Can my day get any worse?" Like the hand touches his shoulder, and the cuffs start to go on.
Yeah. So you've got Toldorn in cuffs. You get Skitterick in cuffs. Durango is very upset because he really likes his tea. He's very upset that he does have a barrel, but it is running low, and he's had to forsake this mug. Skitterick spends the entire time exclaiming his innocence, and distinctly not making eye contact with Greta. And Musdelgrim is very much in shock that you're accusing her brother of attempted murder. And just says like, I can't believe it. Toldorn's kind of a dour fellow, but there's no way he wouldn't do that. He don't mind being the manager, do you, Toldorn? Toldorn's not that big a deal. He knows whichever one of us wins, we're gonna make Ma's company just keep going. It's just gonna keep going up, and we're gonna work together to really get it going.
Yeah, Hodor's not your friend.
Aaron goes for Skitterick to see if he can find the letter that he secreted away.
Yep. In cuffs, Skiderick does not resist you, and you do pull out a letter from his vest. Would you like to open that letter and read it aloud in front of everyone, or do you want to read it to yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems really mean. Aaron's not like a totally mean, oblivious.
Okay.
He's gonna read it for evidence. He's looking to see if it names the person that hired him.
Are you sure now? Because if you read it aloud, you might be able to convince Andrew to give you a performance check, which could balance out our failure on the scales of justice. Just saying. You could orate it really well.
Yes. In that case, you've tabletopped me on it. So Aaron will, like, with two fingers, reach in and slowly pull out the letter, and flip it open with a little sort of hero's pose, and begins reading in, like, the most flowery voice he can, as though he was reading Shakespeare.
Can I get a performance check from you, Marty? And I'll give you advantage. I'll give you advantage on this.
Oh, will you? Whoops. Well, that one went off the table.
Don't count that.
All right. So that's bad. That's a 10 plus 5 is 15, and then that's an 8 plus 5 is 13. So 15.
Well, luckily, 15 is enough. You do succeed on that performance check.
Yes.
And you read. You begin to read this letter. My dearest Grudda, light of my eyes and apple of my life. And it is the sappiest, like, worst love letter you've ever read. It's got really bad poetry in it.
Yeah.
It goes on and on.
But Aaron sells it. Like, he does not turn it down.
Yeah. You see Greta actually, like, flushing and, like, fanning herself a little bit as she looks at Skiderick. And she's, Skiderick, I had no idea, sweetheart. I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? All these months you've been coming to my range, you never once said anything to me. I am sorry, Greta. I did not. I could not. Oh, I am ashamed. And I have been used so foully. Don't look at me. Don't look at me, Greta.
So then, yeah, with him so ashamed, just like, Skiderick, who sold you on this plan?
It was Toldorn. He told me. He said, "Here is a potion. You go to this locker. You put it in the tea leaves, and sure enough, it will make a tea for you, and it'll be a surprise for dear Greta, and you and her can have a romantic date." And I did. I should have thought, but I was so caught up in the moment, in the romance. Oh, I am a fool. Oh.
All right. Well, I hope you learned a lesson. Let's go to jail.
Well, now is the time that our Twitch audience will vote guilty or not guilty to determine. How are we going to do this tonight? Should we have a double guilty vote or a double not guilty to determine whether it's Toldorn and Skiderick? I
mean, we could go for two votes if Aaron is writing up the paperwork.
I'll tell you what.
I would say it's clear that Skiderick was a patsy, and he at no point had intent, and he thought he was doing something else, something skeevy. Maybe there's a minor charge for like a attempted mind altering substance.
For roofing, one count roofing.
Attempted roofing is pretty serious.
Let's do. Let's have everybody vote for both parties, and we'll just see what the jury turns out, whether we believe Toldorn is guilty or innocent based on the evidence collected. No crime has been committed as of yet, and whether Skiderick is guilty. So, did Toldorn really plan to murder his sister and claim their mother's inheritance? And did Skiderick help in that plot, or come up with the plot all on his own, or was he, as Aaron, as Marty so graciously puts it, a patsy? So just give us the first guilty or not guilty will be for Toldorn, and the second will be for Skiderick. So, if you think they're both guilty,
all right,
or both not guilty, or first for Toldorn, second for Skiderick.
Minute 25 on the clock. Let those votes roll in, folks.
Perfect. I hope that tonight's game has not been too terribly confusing. We had a lot of characters in this, a lot of uncommon names, I'll say.
Ilyn loves butchering names. She's a big fan.
Know, it's so great because Ilyn's chosen name was so easy to butcher. His chosen disguise was so easy to butcher itself that it really works out well for everybody. And of course, the range that shall not be named was a just terrible decision on my part.
What was that? The straight wind archery?
Straight wind range.
Straight wind range. Oh yeah, you set yourself up.
I did not ever say it aloud.
She sells straight wind seashells by the seashore. That's one of those things.
It would almost be better. It would almost have been better to name it Seashells by the Seashore Range.
All right, just 25 seconds left on the clock. Anybody else wants to make a last-minute vote? We'd be more than welcome, happy to support and hear from all of y'all.
It's looking pretty grim for defendants, though.
It's looking like a solidly prosecuted case.
Yeah, the prosecution really plays forward all the evidence, and the jury just isn't buying it. Are we done on time, Scott?
That's the time.
All right. So the votes have come in guilty on both defendants. So Toldorn, the prosecution really nails Toldorn to the wall. His motive is clear, his intent is clear, and his means are there. The poison, the motive is there. Skiderick also gets called out. Unfortunately, the audience, the jury just doesn't buy the innocent act. They think that whether or not his infatuation with Greta was real, he participated for whatever reason in the attempted murder of Muslim, probably to get a cut of the profits. But they just don't buy his act of innocence. So we cut back one last time to Kings Park, where later that very evening, where Aaron is attending the final show.
You should know that the scales of justice stand at 2 successes versus 3 failures still.
Okay.
With our botch rolling in the beginning.
That is the way it goes sometimes. The performance is about to take place. You see a very large crowd is gathered. You even see Oakfoot the Treant standing tall above the crowd, off on one side. And there is a couple of very large poles. There are double tight ropes across, not 100 in the air, or not 100 yards in the air, but probably a good 50 or 60 feet in the air. And on one end is Hugh Fieri with his spring shoes. And on the other end is Gal Fieri with her unicycle, and they are on parallel tight ropes. Well, folks, this is going to be the performance of a lifetime. Fenwick Tassel is my name. The Fieri duo is who you're going to see tonight, and they're going to perform a particular feat you will have never seen before. It's going to be pretty sweet. Let's get started. And Aaron runs up to the edge of the crowd and is having a hard time getting through the crowd. And he sees Gal and Hugh beginning their crossing of the tight ropes. Gal rolling down her tightrope on her unicycle, and Hugh miraculously bouncing along the tightrope on his spring. Aaron's really not quite sure how he's doing. He thinks maybe he's looping the springs, like the other foot under the rope every time he switches, but it's hard to tell from this far down. They start juggling. Again, Hugh close to the middle. How
close is Aaron to Oakfoot? Can he get to Oakfoot more easily than
he could get to Oakfoot pretty easily? So you start making your way over to Oakfoot.
Yeah, he's gonna make his way over to Oakfoot.
Perfect. As you're doing that, the two Fieries are getting closer to the middle where they're going to pass. And as they get closer, Hugh pulls out that big fireplace match, and he lights it, and he gets his double pins on fire. And they're getting really close, and you get over to Oakfoot, who greets you in his very deep, melodious, slow voice.
No, that's me. I have to be me and me.
Oh no, we can split that up.
Hello, Aaron.
Hey, Oakfoot. Good to see you, my man. Hey, how are you at catch?
You catch? I can catch birds and bees.
And Aaron looks up and sees the two fairies passing in the middle now, exchanging pins. They're now on. The pins are all on fire now. They're tossing it back and forth, and that's when you see Gal's unicycle start to wobble as she struggles to catch the pins that are lighting on fire.
I caught a dog once in my hands.
Oakfoot, I'm going to need you to catch them when they fall in a few seconds. Arms out, my dude, right now.
Oakfoot stretches out his long, branchy arms, and sure enough, Gal comes tumbling down, and as she does, Hugh reaches out for her and loses his balance, and they both come tumbling down. Luckily, Oakfoot's hard wooden arms catch them, and you do hear the cracking.
Crack, yeah.
Unpleasant sounds.
What I'm worried about is the subsequent fire.
They do. That's true. The flaming pins come around, and Oakfoot drops them both on the ground and stumbles backwards, knocking a whole bunch of people in the crowd over. The pins go out pretty much as soon as they land. Does not start a fire, but Oakfoot stomps off and hightails it back into the
fire.
Thanks,
like Frankenstein's monster.
Thanks,
Fire!
dude. I'll be by with some fertilizer tomorrow.
People are shouting. Everyone's yelling.
Must return to the forest. Prevent fire.
Fenwick runs up to Aaron. Hey, Twillson, what are you doing? You're messing up my act.
What is your act? Getting people killed?
Listen, they were doing just fine until you had your big friend start reaching out and interfering. You know what, Twillson?
I don't control Oakfoot. He lives here.
I run the performance game in this town, Twillson, and I gotta tell you, you're not getting anywhere. I'm gonna contact Scary Dragon Lady. I'm gonna contact the Dirty Cup. I'm gonna contact all the bars and taverns around Lan Arcanym, and you're not getting into any of the open mic nights.
Oh, well, when you call them,
you like it.
When you call them, why don't you tell them we're going to have all of your performance permits checked, double-checked, triple-checked. How's your insurance, my man? It's not looking too good after that tightrope came undone.
Oh, you can check the permits. You can check the insurance. It's all above board. It's not my fault if the performers were distracted by someone else. You will find I am completely unliable in this situation, as are my performers, as is the venue, as always. And he snaps his suspenders one last time and stomps off. And you know that as much as you want to get him, he's right. It wasn't Oakfoot's fault, obviously.
He's got the excuse.
But he's got the excuse. The fault lies anywhere. It's in the performers. They clearly, this is not something they practiced before, and it was just risky. But of course, what are they going to do? And so Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron's actually going to go check on them. He cares about the performers. He doesn't care now about this guy.
They clearly have broken bones, but they are not like screaming in pain. They're both lying there, both conscious, both grimacing horridly. And Gal says, "There's no way. No, this is it. This is the end of our career. We can't. It's all right, dear. We'll find some other work. I can go back to the mines, and I'll go back to the mines, and you can go back to being a seamstress, and we'll get along." It's a very grim and unpleasant situation, and the scales of justice have read failure, and it was for a good reason. So, yeah,
blacklisted.
That's how it ends. Aaron is blacklisted in all of the places that Fenwick has any say, and the fear.
Good.
Fenwick.
Fenwick, you just made Aaron an underdog.
So that is it for tonight, folks. I want to thank everybody for watching and for voting. I'm glad you all tuned in. And we will be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel with another episode of Lawful and Orderly Special Visitors Unit. We'll see you then. Get it? See?
Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Andrew, for the story. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Thanks everybody. Bye.
We're just going to keep waving until Scott turns off the stream.